Head of Crime Intelligence Dumisani Khumalo and 5 other suspects have been granted 10,000 rand bail each out at the Pretoria Magistrates Court about an hour ago. Khumalo and 5 other suspects were arrested on Thursday and they are facing a fraud as well as corruption charges in connection, of course, with alleged unlawful appointments.
The National Commissioner is very concerned given the severity of allegations that we have read in the media space and what we have seen in court today against our senior officers. Like I've indicated, he has not received a factual report from ID. He is awaiting a factual report on the arrests of these senior officers. The Crime Intelligence Division is a very integral part of prevention and combating of crime. Actually, 90% of our successes in the SAPS are crime intelligence driven. So we cannot allow a situation where this particular division experiences instability, but we will allow the law to take its course. What is important is to assure South Africans that the work and mandate of the police will continue. The running of this particular division will continue. We do have the expertise and the capability to ensure that it is business as usual in the Crime Intelligence Division. We won't allow this particular case to collapse the division. So the National Commissioner has pledged that he will be appointing a senior officer in terms of our disciplinary regulations to commence with an internal investigation into the allegations made in court and the charges in court. He's also considering on who will act on the various roles occupied by the affected senior managers. We will not say much for now. Like I've indicated, we are awaiting a factual report from the ID. The National Commissioner is yet to be briefed on what has transpired here this afternoon. But safe to say is that we pledge our full support and cooperation to the ID on the investigation, and we will give full support and cooperation to the court processes that are currently underway.
All right, let's welcome Mr. Wayne Duvenage there, the Chief Executive Officer at OUTA. Wayne, it's good to have you with us. A very good afternoon. So quite a major breakthrough, right, firstly, in the arrest, as well as now the latest on the bail being granted. Those are the news just in. But this, I suppose, saga opens a can of worms. And one wonders if we will ever get all the answers that we actually seek. By the way, this is the second time that senior CI officers have been arrested in a space of just 2 weeks by IDEC officers. What's your reaction as OUTA to these current developments? SABC have briefed the media earlier stating that they will not be rushing into any suspensions or dismissals until, I'm sure you've just heard it there, they've received the final factual report.
Clearly the IDEC, the investigating directorate, is turning up the taps. I think they've had a couple of blows in the past. But without doubt, Andrea Johnson, we've had a meeting with her recently, has indicated to us very clearly that they're taking their job seriously. There are restrictions, constraints that they have. One wishes that the whole criminal justice system, including IDEC, is properly funded and resourced to get on with the job. But you see this happening, not fast enough. This is a good situation. I think the crime intelligence has, since Richard Mdluli's days, has been a political hotspot. A lot of investigations of abuse of power and abuse of funds. And if these allegations are anything to go by, this is serious stuff. So we welcome this type of action. We welcome these arrests. Obviously, they've got their facts. I don't think they would arrest Khumalo and the others if they hadn't done the work.
Mm-hmm. So now, Wayne, what I want to know is, while this now legal process unfolds, what happens now to those alleged unlawful appointments or contracts? Will we even know who they belong to at some point, do you think?
Well, we hope to find out, and this is one of the things we need from the criminal justice system, is more transparency. These papers do become public knowledge, so we will get to know more about these appointments that have taken place, and they appear to be highly irregular, with a number of people involved in trying to cover it up, knowing that it was wrong. I think we've also heard that there are potential issues around irregular expenditure as well, and purchasing of properties which were not done properly. I think the whole question around the Crime Intelligence Centre is that they've been allowed to not have so much oversight over their spending and that. And I hope that this really triggers now, once and for all, meaningful oversight. Of course, there's some of their spending has to be confidential, but one cannot have people just operating in the way that they feel is best without any oversight. As you can see, for many years now, a lot of questions around the conduct going on there by the senior executives.
And speaking of those questions, Wayne, I suppose this now brings more scrutiny on investigations or as well as cases that, of course, these members were actually a part of. I mean, how should we as the public view these? And what is the best way forward then with regards to this? And will OUTA be joining the relevant forces to uncover any corruption that is related to this particular matter?
Well, we will certainly if we get the information. So we work with whistleblowers in an anonymous manner, if need be, with factual information. So if we get facts and evidence, and then we can help with dealing with corruption. On this specific matter, we haven't got, but we'll be watching it with interest. And we trust and believe that the IDAC and their team and their investigators have really done their homework here. I think they've had enough incidences of embarrassment with botched cases. So this one, we believe, and hopefully others going forward, they really have got their ducks in a row and will have enough facts to make this case stick. And then we want to see exactly what happened. But that will play out in court. I think any cases like this, we need to celebrate as the public, because corruption is still rife in this country in many departments within government, the public service, and we've got a lot of work to do as the country, as a criminal justice system, including civil society, to just start rooting out people that do not have the best interests of the country at heart.
As we understand, the DA has quite a lot of information and has been watching these developments for quite a while there, Wayne. And maybe just in closing, you spoke about transparency there. So let's talk about, is it not time that SABC bosses actually, or management actually underwent lifestyle audits? What do you think?
Absolutely. Lifestyle audits are very important. In fact, more than that, we need to see conflict of interest audits. Some of the work that we've seen is that far too many people that work inside government departments, they and their family members do business with those same government departments. It's absolutely rotten to hear and see the type of stuff that we've seen. And I think it's time that the President and Treasury got together and sat down with all sectors of the criminal justice system. I'm talking here SARS, SIU, Assets Forfeiture Unit, IDAC, Hawks, and so on, and stop, put the systems in place. We've been talking about digitizing the police and NPA for some time. For 15 years now, nothing's happened. We really need to get moving on professionalizing and digitizing and making the systemic, dealing with the systemic rot and making, the criminal justice system efficient so that we can really get the criminal syndicates out of government, start holding them to account, arresting people. And I promise you, if we get this right, we will see investment, we'll see confidence in the government and confidence in the police. There's a long way to go, but it's never going to happen unless there's a political will. And we believe that's the problem here. There's not enough political will to deal with the corruption in this country because too many people in high places in this government are conflicted.
Wayne, thank you so much for your input there. That is Mr. Wayne Duvenage, the CEO at OUTA, on the arrest of Major General Khumalo. Well, Khumalo and his 5 co-accused have since appeared in the Pretoria Magistrates Court early this afternoon and were each granted 10,000 rand bail.